of this also can hear this part. But just keep that in mind. So 32 frontline directors, like I said, $13 million or more this month, but Katie had to start. She enrolled with the same kit. She enrolled the same way that all of us did. And with the growth and momentum that Zaya has right now, you can all be here for it. We can all emulate these things and this mentality and this approach that Katie has. So I am super stoked about it. Katie lives in Colorado with her husband, David, her 3 boys, Jay, Ty, and Grayson. So she's got 3 boys. I feel like there's just a lot of boy moms on this team also. But she's absolutely incredible. Last month, she double ranked to Zaya Presidential, which is the top rank in the company. There's only 2 other people along with Katie who are at that rank. So she just skipped over one of the most massive ranks. But she did that last month, and I am seriously honored that she's here with us tonight. So I hope you guys have a pen and a paper. I know there was some questions in the Facebook group page that I'll try to get addressed. And then also we have you can put questions in the comments, and if we get to them, we'll get to them. We do want to keep this around 30 minutes just because we want to be cognizant of people's time, but I'm already 4 minutes into it. So I'm going to stop talking because you don't need to hear from me. But without further ado, Katie, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to learn from you tonight.
You are so sweet, Leah. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys, first and foremost, for inviting me and having me. This is such an honor, and I truly I like teaching, I like training, and I like talking. And I talk fast, just a heads up on that one. But when Leah asked me, gosh, you asked me a while ago, and I mean, it's honestly one of the biggest honors, I feel like, because it's a huge compliment. And so first and foremost, you guys showing up is a big deal, because you showed up for your business tonight to pour in to yourself and do some self-development, which is a big deal in itself. And so I don't take that lightly. Like, that's a big deal to me when people show up on purpose, for a purpose. And so congrats to you guys that are on here. So we went over some different topics on like what would be a good training topic. And so Leah's like a no BS approach, and I think one thing, and I'll just say this because I feel like sometimes when people see me, they kind of feel like, in my mind, it's like Katie just like bulldozes and like plows through, and like there's like this there's like this shell, and there's probably a shell around me, but I'm actually a ball of like mush on the inside. It's just having to break through that barrier to get it. But what people see is a very probably gung-ho driven person, and that is definitely that's definitely a character of mine for sure. And yes, Ellie says Semperfi. I was a Marine, and so that is something that's been driven into me, is just drive and following through. And so when we talk about a no BS approach to your business, oh gosh, there's so many feelings and thoughts that come up. Honestly, with this, it's discipline is part of it. Vision is part of it. How bad do you want it is part of it. What are you willing to do, and for how long are you willing to do it to get what you want, is part of it. There's just so many facets of our business. However, when we talk about this topic in particular, the answer is you. The success to your business is you. Okay, that's it. It's all you, and it's all between your 2 ears. And until we can get that straight, and until we can, understand that motivation is temporary. Like, I'd love to say I have been motivated for the last 3 years, but I will tell you, like, there have definitely been very unmotivating days that I still had to show up, and I still had to do, even though I didn't want to, and that's discipline. Discipline is going to carry you on those days that you simply do not want to do it, but you do it anyway. Okay. And so that is definitely something that is really, really, it's powerful, and it's also kind of like eye-opening. Okay, so I might say a couple things that might not rub you the right way tonight, and that's okay. I hope it maybe shakes you and wakes you up a little bit, if you need it. And that's kind of what this is for. And I have some of the questions here. Oops, where did it go? And I'm going to address a couple of them first, because my business has changed drastically. There's some of these that kind of saying, how many parties do I book a month, and how many average recruits do I do per month? That's changed for me at the point that I am in my business right now. When I started my business, you guys, doing 10 to 12 or more parties a month was not uncommon. And I did it for probably 2+ some years. Okay, so that was something that I did all the time, because you guys, activity fixes all. Activity fixes everything. And that is income producing activity. And that is, a couple of those before I get into other stuff is booking parties, asking people to look into this business, having the one-on-one conversations, doing drop bags with people that are local to me, inviting people to look at a Discover Zaya. Anything that's going to be considered someone either coming in my business or that's going to create sales in my business is an income producing activity. Okay, so I may not have had, 3 parties one week, but you better believe I was talking the business and making it up that week. I do a rolling, well, not as much anymore, because I really work a lot more like in my team at this point, or on my team. But I teach a rolling 10. You should have 10 income producing activities at any point over the next 30 days in your business. Okay, so that's something that today's the 5th. So to the 5th of May, you should have 10 income producing activities on your calendar. And like I said, it doesn't have to be 10 parties. That would be amazing. But it has to also be including, talking to people, asking people to have a conversation with you. And so those are income producing activities. It's not, putting a party on it. A party that's not all. You have to do more than just the party piece. Okay. So, but any of that activity is going to change an attitude. It's going to change a mindset. It's going to create discipline. It's going to do all of those things. Okay. So where I'm at in my business right now, to that question, I still sponsor people. I just sponsored someone today. I still shoot for 3 people a month. And so that will never change, because you always need new people coming into your business, because there's attrition. And so you want to make up for that aspect of things. And I still do parties. I just finished one up last week. I have another one starting next week. Okay. So I still do parties, not to the extent that I used to do, just because my business is at a different phase right now. Okay. So there's that. Let me answer that one. Let me see here. How do I split my time between guiding and mentoring and activity selling and recruiting? I always used, as close as I could, the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule for me was 80% on my business, 20% on my team, because you can never let your personal business go. You simply cannot. When your personal business dies, so does your business. Okay. So you have to always, and this is part of the no BS approach, you guys. My team, bless my first line, because they definitely know me, but I'm going to go with or without them. They can get on the train or they can get off the train. They're not going to hold me back. That's my no BS approach, and that's what I teach. And your team that you have today will not be the team that is going to get you to the next level. It's a fact. Okay, so if you're sitting at a senior rep team, that team is not going to get you to a director. You need to bring more people on. You need to be talking to more people. Your director team's not going to get you to senior director. Your senior director is definitely not going to get you to executive. There has to be growth happening. Okay, and so if you can think about that, that means you have to show up. I don't ask my first line or team to do anything that I wouldn't do personally. I lead the pack. And I set the pace of my team. Okay, so this could be kind of that reality check of what's your discipline, you guys? Are you setting the pace? Are you like, gosh, I really don't feel like showing up today, so I'm just going to sit on the back burner till tomorrow, and that's totally cool. Your team's going to do the same thing. And I saw it happen in 2 of my teams last month, because 2 of them were running for double Zaya. And one of them one of them kind of went out of town. Well, when mom was gone, the kids didn't show up. Okay. Well, the other one was present and doing the do, the kids showed up. Okay, so you definitely see, and not that you don't want to enjoy a vacation. I took 2 weeks off last month and went to Florida. Okay, so but the thing about it is we have to teach that you have to teach leadership. Okay, it shouldn't just be on the leader to be doing all of this. Like, you guys have your own business, and that's the coolest thing about Zaya. It's also, it can also be one of the hardest things. That's a good thing and it's a bad thing, because you have to take ownership, you guys. You have to take ownership and be your worst boss of yourself. And that is really hard sometimes, when you have to like fire yourself and then rehire yourself the next day, or you have to face your own music of like, God, I sucked today. That was okay. Like, and can you go to sleep at night and say, you know what? I would sign off on my work today. I'm content with what I did today. Or is it kind of just like, oh, I was kind of mediocre? That's where the difference between average people and your leaders show up. Okay. And that's what makes people different, is leaders are willing to go further, longer. Okay. For an extended period of time, until my goal, I did a training for my team, and my goal was to hit Zaya Presidential in September of last year. It's on my vision board right in front of me. I didn't hit it, but I didn't say I'm done, like stick a fork in me. Like, okay, I'm done. No, you guys, you can move the date. It's simply a date. But the fact is that I kept going until I'm going to show up until I hit that goal. Okay. And so that's something that, I know I kind of get off on tangents, but that's something that I like to talk about, is I have to show up 80% in my personal business. My team's observing what I do. They know what I do. They see me working. They see me working in my teams, and 20% on them, because again, my job is not to grow their business. They're their own business. I will not grow their business. It is not my job. Okay. And that might be a pill for some of you guys, because some of you are like, oh, my team is just sitting here and I'm waiting on my team, and my team needs to do this volume, and my team and my team and my team. Well, what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? Are you going to find new team? Are you doing training calls? Are you showing up? Are you showing up and doing the activities? Are they seeing you doing the activities? Okay. What are you going to do about that? Because it is honestly, it's not your team's job to get you to the next level. It's not. It's your job to do that. Okay. And sometimes, people say, oh, I just want it to happen naturally. Okay. It doesn't happen naturally. You have to be intentional about what your business is doing. And again, like, some people will sit and they're going to wait and wait till that like magic person pops up, and it might happen. I'm not going to say it can't happen, but I will tell you, it's going to happen a lot faster if you're intentional about where your team is going. The goals that they need to hit, their levels, their volumes. You are digging into their team like you're involved. Okay. That's how it happens intentionally. I don't ever sit back and just say, oh, whenever you're going to hit, it's going to be great. Heck no. Like, I have goals that I'm going for. You had best believe I'm going to do my darndest to teach and train my team and show up as a leader and dig into those teams and teach them. And I'm going to push, and I'm going to challenge, and I'm going to incentivize, and I am going to give them, I'm going to show them, like, this is how you create this. Okay. It doesn't just happen like, oh, eventually we'll hit 10,000. You guys, you have to be intentional about it. You have to have inspired action to make a result happen. Okay. And when you have inspired action and you're motivated and the team is all in for a goal, you hit goals. And it's really fun. And it makes this business so, so fun to be a part of. But you can't sit back and just think, oh, eventually it's going to happen. Okay. Because guess what? Your team's going, oh, eventually it's going to happen. And eventually, like it's not happening. Okay. So in order for something to change, something has to change. And that means it's got to start with the leader. Okay. The leader sets the pace and the leader sets the temperature in the room. And did you guys know there's a study out that 20% that kids earned anywhere between, about 10 to 20% of what their parents make, right? And part of this is, it's a study, and it's a true study. When you think about a temperature in a room, right? It hit you like, for my girls that just hit double Zaya, like they're on fire, right? Problem is if they don't break that barrier of the temperature that they have set up here because they're on fire, right? They've come from here to come up here. If they don't break that barrier and get into personal development and growth and blast through this right here, it's going to come back down. Okay. And that's what happens in a room. Like the temperature, if it's 80 degrees, you set it to 85. Once it hits 85, it shuts off and it comes down until it kicks back in, right? Same thing as if it's down, you need the heat to come up here, or I guess that would be AC. Up here, you want the heat to come up here. Once it hits here, it shuts off and then it comes back down and then it goes back up, right? You have to be the temperature gauge. Okay. When you're excited and you hit this, if you're not willing to blast through these barriers and do the personal development that it takes to grow your brain to this next level, because you're not going to grow to the level of leadership until you have grown personally and developed into the person you need to be to handle that level. Okay, so when you hit this, you have to say, okay, what's next? I have to blast through this, because if I don't, it naturally happens, you guys. It naturally just comes down until you get this boom poof again, this big magic moment, right? So you have to be the thermometer or the thermostat. You don't hang out with what the room is. Okay, blast through it. And that's where you take your team to a whole different level, right? So you guys, it is easy to declare a goal. It is so easy to declare a goal, right? It's when we approach deadlines that the doers and the dreamers are separated, okay? Are you hungry enough to show up? The distance between dreams, like I said, and reality is discipline. It's the bridge, you guys. It's the desire that gets us to the bridge, but then it's the discipline that has to get us over that bridge to our goal. And discipline, you guys, what lets you cross the bridge. It's the difference of what you want now and what you want most. Most of the time, we settle for what we want right now because we get challenged, and oh gosh, that TV show is so good, and oh, Bridgerton is coming back on, and oh my goodness, like I just, we got to get up and all of this stuff. That's what we want right now. But is it benefiting us in the long run, you guys? And I'm not saying don't have a life, but I am saying, what is it going to take you to get to that goal? And that is kind of my no BS approach is I go. Like I have been on fire for my business since day one. I light up every single morning. I am passionate about what I do. I'm excited. I'm in my team. You guys, I'm drinking soda and it's 8:00 at night. Like who does that? Like I seriously I love what I do. And my vision is crystal clear that it drives me more than you could ever imagine. The goals I have reached have been unbelievable, to create a foundation, to now we're donating to 3 foundations tomorrow that we've partnered with. That has been on my vision board for 10 years and it's finally come to fruition. Okay. But what's next? There has to always be a what's next. And now it's like, oh, now we're going to go international. Now we're like, there's never an ending point, you guys. And that's, I think, one thing is when we make it about us, for some reason, we turn to say, gosh, we turn to make this about us and we stop growing. Okay. It's not about us. We've never arrived. I haven't arrived. Like, yeah, I might be at the top of the company, and I tell my team this, until I have every single one of my first line that wants to sit alongside me, I'm not done. I'm not done. Okay. If you hit director, that's awesome. Take a breath and move on. Okay. You're not done. There are so many people and there is such a bigger God-given purpose for you out there you just have to, you need to visualize past the immediate thing. You have to continue moving forward. And that is one of the hardest things, because for some reason we're like, whew, I made it. Like, I am good. I am taking a break. Like, now my team can do the rest and I'm going to eat bonbons. No, you guys, I still show up every single day. And it is my duty to teach and train my leaders to have what I have. You guys, if I asked you guys to go ask 500 people to join Zaya, and I would give you my paycheck that I just earned, would you do it? And it's a big stinking paycheck, like several years worth of what other people make all in 1 month. You would do it without a doubt. Without a doubt. You wouldn't question that. If I said, go ask 500 people, it would be done if I could turn around and hand you that paycheck. So what is stopping you from getting it, right? Like, that's the no BS approach. Like, do it anyway. Do it in fear. Do it messy. You guys, my office is a disaster right now. It is, my house looks like it threw up all over itself. Like, it doesn't matter how you do it, just do it, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be clean. It doesn't have, I have a pile of clothes sitting, like literally right here that I'm staring at. There's clothes hanging up there. Sometimes we get into this mindset that everything has to be this perfect way for people to look at me as a leader, or for people to take me seriously. You guys, you relate to people more than you know by just showing up as you. And that speaks volumes to people, okay? I truly just don't, I just go, you guys. And one thing I will tell you, when new reps join my team, I give them about 30 to 60 days. I point them to their resources, and then we're good. Like, I will put them in previous events that I've done. I will help do a launch event and do some live videos. That's what I give them. I have created a system for my team, but I'm not here to handhold somebody. You've chosen to do this business. You have chosen to put on CEO pants, okay? You don't go create a brick and mortar store or a Lululemon or anything like that and not show up and not know what you're doing and not be resourceful. The same goes for this business here, okay? It's no different. You show up, whether you like it or not. If you want that business to be successful, it's no different. The only thing is you are your own boss at this point, and you have a low barrier of entrance. And that is the biggest difference, because it's a low barrier of exit. And so it's kind of like, well, what's my investment? You guys, had I quit this business when I was so frustrated and mad last beginning of February, oh my gosh, I wish I would have punched myself, okay, for making that decision, because of what it has done to my life and the person I have become in the process of it. It's not, you're going to have bad days. You're going to have angry days. You're going to have frustration. But if you can learn from it and you can grow from it and you can use that energy for a purpose, and you can put good out and know that everything has been put in your path for a specific reason, and most likely it's for you to grow through something and into a person that you need to be, accept that and grow and be willing to, develop into that. And it's not all fun, you guys. It's not. And it's challenging, but I'll tell you, the reason you have to go through those things is so you can teach and train your team when they come against those hardships as well. And that is something that you have to be willing to face, is you're going to go first. And it's your hindsight is your foresight is their hindsight. Is that right? Or your hindsight is their foresight, something like that. One of those. Okay. And that's okay. But one of the other things I wanted to touch on as I kind of finish up through here, you guys, but what makes you happy? Think about it. What makes you happy? Like, really, really happy, okay? Like, you need to know this. You need to know this. How do you define success? What do you think success looks like? What does it feel like to you? What's the vibe? What's your vision of what success looks like? Okay. The only limit we have on this is the gap between our ears. the past year has been one of the biggest growth challenges and years for me to go through. I had to, you guys, I had to put blinders on, and that's okay to do that. I had to block out people. I had to block people on Facebook. I had to limit what I was able to see. I had to stop talking to people because of keeping my energy and my mind in the right place. There is nothing wrong with that, and it has served me greatly. And now I can open it back up a little bit because I have achieved and I have grown into the person that I need to be. But I had to put blinders on. Okay, I had to put blinders on. You guys, the biggest thing that the biggest things that we let hold us back are our favorite excuses. And this is gonna hurt. You guys, excuses are unprofessional. They are. Excuses are unprofessional. Life happens, and that's okay. Own it. Okay? Don't make excuses. Make choices and be okay with the choices that you make. If you are choosing to not be on a call, it's a choice. Don't make the excuse of so-and-so has this and I can't because I can't. It's a choice that you're making to not be on the call. Okay? Be okay with that choice because that choice is ultimately, it's up to you, you guys. Self-discipline is a muscle and it has to be exercised every day. Just like showering, there's a reason we do it every day because you smell, right? So you have to shower every day. So the same thing goes with discipline. You guys, motivation is up and down. Discipline takes effort. It takes you have to exercise it. You have to be willing to, I get up every morning at the same time and I go do my devotional but I didn't start that way. I did little bits at a time and little bits at a time and little bits at a time. And now it's a discipline that I don't give up. Okay. It takes that discipline. It's a huge part of someone's backstory. Okay. And you have as much self-discipline as you desire. Okay. So again, I ask, how bad do you want your goal? And if your goal is not worth fighting for, it's not big enough. It's simply just not big enough, okay? What effort are you willing to put in to grow the muscle, okay? It's not like you don't know what to do. There is no reason that anybody should fail in this business for lack of resources. Not one. That goes for this team, and that goes for my team. There's not one reason that anybody should fail because they don't know what to do, okay? You'll get coached. People get coached. They get trainings. They get led. You guys, and still you get people that will ask, okay, now what do I do next? You guys, you have to put it into action. You have to be the CEO of your own business. And that is a no BS approach. You guys, not everybody here has an amazing sponsor that's going to do everything for them, okay? You have to become resourceful in things, and a sponsor doesn't make you successful, okay? Let me tell you that. A sponsor does not make you a success in the top of this company. They simply don't. It's yourself and your discipline and your willingness to show up, okay? Success is doing what you know you should be doing while you feel like doing it or not. Be willing to do whatever it takes for however long it takes. It is so worth it. It is so, so worth it. And not just, the financial aspect is great and it provides a ton of choices, but the person that you develop into is the best. And it is so cool to be able to pour into people and just the belief that you have and the rose-colored glasses, and you're just a different energy, okay? And it's really, really neat to see, your kids kind of, they come to life. My husband is like, I want to do a vision board. This is awesome. You just become a different person, and it's really, really cool. Okay, so one of the other things is don't compare highlight reels, you guys. Everyone's effort requirement is different. You guys always hear don't compare your story 5 or your chapter 500 to their chapter 1. You guys, everybody has a different effort requirement in order to reach their goals. Somebody's goal may not be to hit the top of this company, and that's totally okay. It's going to take a different level of effort, and that's okay. But often we get caught up in this person's doing this, this person's doing this is happening over here. Stop. put your blinders on and go forward. That's all you have to worry about is you and what you are doing and who you're showing up for. Okay, that's all you need. Who cares what they're doing? Okay, and so do whatever that takes to make that happen. Do you know the top 20% of people in the world make 80% of the money in the world? That's pretty cool. Strive to be your best always, always. And that means, writing out your to-do list. It doesn't have to be like 50 pages long, but write out 5 things a day that you want to get done and put check marks by them and know that you have gone to bed doing your best. And if you didn't get to one, that's okay. You did your best. And you can add that to the top of the list tomorrow. Creating activity. We talked about this, you guys. Activity, it creates everything. Okay. It creates progress. It builds vision. It builds skills. It builds passion. Okay. It builds how you get better. For those of you that are like, gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm awful. Get into activity. That's how you get better at what you do, is just repetition and improving and fine tuning little things over and over again. Okay. You do what you do to create a life and to get better. That's why we do what we do, is to create a life for ourselves and our family. At the end of the day, that's why you're doing this. You're not doing this to outbeat Leah or Shauna. Like, you're not doing this to outdo somebody or to race somebody to the top. You're doing this for you, to create a better life for yourself. And when you can keep that at the forefront of your mind, you'll be more grounded, okay, and not in competition with somebody. Be in competition with the person in the mirror. That's the only person that truly matters, okay? Always strive to be your best. Don't rest on your success, you guys. Build on it, and that comes with arriving somewhere, okay? Build on your success. The top 1% of the world, they don't say, gosh, I've arrived up here. They go and they say, what else can I do next? What's next? What else do I have in my plan? The same with this company. I don't sit here and I'm like, yes, I made it, I'm done. No, what's next? I've got 2 other ones coming up. Like, what else? What else can I do? What else can I do? Okay, when you stop, you make it about you. Okay, this is not a business about you. It's a business about serving other people. And to be great, one must serve many. Okay, that's in the Bible. The best thing and the worst thing is that we don't have a boss. I already talked about that, you guys. It's the best and it's the worst. Okay, so, you have to be your worst boss. Let me see here. You have you. So what are your standards? If you were to hire yourself, what are your standards? Like, what would you set your standards for a teammate? Or if you owned a different business or you were somewhere else, what would your standards be? And are you meeting up to your own standards? Okay. You'll get that every time. Whatever your standards are, you're going to get it every time. So do you need to raise your standards? Or are they good? Are you showing up to them? That's awesome. Okay. Lasting success is working harder for an extended period of time, not occasionally. This is where you'll find the roller coaster in your business, is sometimes, and this is what happens that I know I've seen, I'm sure Leah has seen, and Ellie, you guys, we get going and we hit our goal and it's like, yes, we did it. And then we like chill for like a while and then the business goes backwards. Your business is always moving, always in one direction or the other. So you have to decide what direction it's going to keep going in. Because if you are going really fast and you hit this like awesome goal and then you're like, God, I got to take a breather, I'm tired from month end, oh my gosh, it starts to step backwards. And every single time it's hard to get it moving. When you have that ball that you've been pushing uphill and you take that breather or you take your foot off the gas, that's the one I use a lot, it starts to go backwards. So you have to constantly keep that pressure on to be moving in the direction that you want it to go. Okay, always. And so, I don't know, that's my mindset, you guys. That's like a little snapshot into how Katie's mind functions every single day. Leah's like, oh my God, I'm exhausted for you. No, I know, I'm usually exhausted all the time.
To like hire you for like a week of training, not 30 minutes, because holy smokes. I am just over here like, writing down, like, just, I can't keep up.
Sorry if you guys like can't sleep tonight and your mind is racing and all of the things. But
No,
yeah.
I think it's incredible, and so many things that you said, at least for me, I'm going to be vulnerable for a second here. There was a lot of things that you said where I thought, man, I need to check in there. Like, I need to check in there in that area of my business. Um, how do you keep from burnout with all the moving forward? It's a good question.
I think that's a great question. And, you know, you have to celebrate. So I think you have to remember to celebrate the small successes, you guys. And that's showing up. That's getting your butt up and doing one thing for your business every single day. And I think the other thing too that really helps me in this aspect is I focus on my team. And when I focus on my team and I see them succeed, my passion, I just get lit up, and I will go. I mean, I'm like the Energizer Bunny. Like, I just said go and go and go because I see the excitement. I see it's happening for them. For burnout, you know, it's okay to take a breather as long as it's a breath and it's not like, oh, I need to take a month off. I actually had someone tell me they were taking a month off of social media and they have an executive team. I like wanted to like throw up in my mouth. Okay. It was about them. Like, I mean, that was the truth. I actually got angry. Because for me, they made it about themselves, and not that you can't have a break, but you got to let people know and communicate those things of what's happening. When I went on vacation for 2 weeks, did I do my business? Yes. But did I let my leaders know, hey, these are going to be my work hours this day and this day because I'm with my family and because I'm going to take a little breather time for that. Did I still absolutely plug in to know what was happening with my team and check in and you know, do the rally stuff? Absolutely. But when you can communicate with your leaders and trust, when you have to let your leaders lead. Otherwise they don't grow. And that's the law of the lid. If you guys, you know the laws of leadership, that's the law of the lid. And that's going to keep your team underneath your foot. So you have to lift it, and you have to let them step into that leadership and take ownership. And look, I mean, I took 2 weeks off and look what my team did, you know? And so it's something that over communicate, and it's going to help. The other thing too, I think, Jessica, is when we feel like we're getting burnt out, evaluate how much you are actually doing for them. And is it something that you can delegate and that you can say, hey guys, like, what are you up to this month? Or are you doing everything? Because I'm not a perfectionist until it comes to this business. For some reason, like, believe me, if you saw my house, you'd be like, oh my God, you know, but when it comes to this business, I have the fear of, am I a good leader? Am I doing enough? Am I doing it? And those are perfectionist like things. And that's not always a good thing. And it's something that I'm actually seeing somebody to coach out of, because I need to set healthy boundaries to let them step into it. And so if that's something that you need to do, tell them, I need you to do this call tonight. I want you to lead this for your team. I want to see the challenge you're going to create for your team instead of me doing it for you. Get their wheels turning on different things. Okay. You guys organize your house. I do. I have a housekeeper. She's absolutely amazing. She's coming tomorrow. Like, she seriously is like Marie Kondo on crack. Well, maybe not like that, but I'm so thankful. Like, I love her. Like, I'm like, that's her gift. And I'm like, I'm the gift of being a tornado and destroying my house. And she's like the gift that has been given to me to clean it and organize my life. I'm like, I'm going to hire you to design the new house on purpose. And I've already told her that. But anyway, so, okay. But so I hope that moves forward. It helps you a little bit, Jessica. There's never a full on balance. And I hate to say that, because I feel like there should be a happy medium, but there's always going to be something that's going to throw something off, whether you're going for a promotion, whether you have a team going for a promotion, whether you have a goal that you want to reach. There's always going to be a little bit of give here and take there, but just, you guys, you have to give yourself grace, and you have to do it imperfectly, And that's okay. And be okay doing that, you guys. That's how I've grown my business. Like, hallelujah for my amazing customers that have seen the kind of show I've given them for the last 3 years, and they've chosen me to be their leader. Like, hallelujah, because clearly I relate to a bunch of other hot mess people, and that's amazing. Do it that way because you relate to people that way. Don't think you have to have everything worked out, because when we do that, it actually makes it harder for people to relate to you because you're not showing them the real you. So give yourself grace and show up a mess, and that's okay. People ask me sometimes, well, how do you do what you do, or what does your day look like? You guys, you have to figure out what routine is going to work for you. My routine, I don't have I have a morning routine. That is what I have. And then the rest of my day is dictated by whatever happens. And that's how I work. I work in chaos of my life, and Zaya is woven in all day long throughout it. But it's what works for me. It's what works for me. Okay. It may not work for you, and that's okay. I don't want you to feel like, oh, I have to go be crazy like Katie and have a chaotic day. No, you have to figure out what's going to work for you. There's no perfect schedule. There's no perfect anything. It's what works for you. And that's what works for me. I have an ADHD like mind that races around like crazy squirrels, and it works for me because I'm hyper focused on my business and what it does. And that's how I've been able to do what I do. It clearly doesn't work in my house. Okay. So it's something that I can work in my business because it's just what I've attached itself to. So just know there's no perfect schedule. There's no perfect routine. You have to figure out what works in your life and where you're going to work it. Okay. Is there any other question, or did I miss anything on this, Leah?
I think, Greg, are you trying, or did you raise your hand? Do I need to unmute you? I think I see.
No, I'm good. I'm not sure why it has it on there.
I was like, that was so polite of you to raise your hand.
We have a guy on here. Woohoo! Hi, Greg.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I think if we could end with, so first of all, I can let you close it off and end with this one, but thank you so, so much for pouring into us. I think a lot of people on here tonight, I want to take this and share it with every single person on the team. And you know what? There might be some people who email tomorrow and be like, I'm done. But there's going to be a lot of people who take it to the next level, right? And that's kind of where this whole thing comes into play. And of course, like you keep saying, is understanding your goal, like understand where you want to be and be okay with what you're doing to get there. Like that's where you can eliminate so much of that comparison and the stress. And Katie, this was absolutely phenomenal. I'm sweating. I'll probably go into labor tonight. I'm just freaking like ready to rock. Like let's do this. I'm so pumped up. There was one question that I think would be kind of fun to end on, just for anybody who's maybe a little bit newer. What would you recommend? I saw this and I thought, golly, I wonder what Katie would give as an answer to this. For somebody who's new in the business, what would you tell them to focus on for the first 6 months? Like, what's that immediate? Like, what did you do? Like, what if you had to do the first 6 months again? What would you say, like, the 2 key things are?
That's a great question. That's actually a question I'm looking at on the thread.
What?
You guys, just soak it in and go unknowingly. Do it anyway. You guys, when me and Ellie started this, there was no system. We didn't know what we were doing. And now you all have a system. That's the coolest thing is, like, I've built my team system. You guys have a system that you follow. And so that's probably one of the easiest things. Like, you can come in and go. I think go like your hair is on fire. And don't let anybody stop you, and don't let other people's opinions hold you back. Because honestly, their opinions are not paying your bills. And it's something that I was leaving another company to join. I had already kind of left, but it was still a really big leap away from that circle of people that I had entrusted and I had built such relationships with. And I was, in a sense, turning my back. And it was a really hard decision. And I had people that actually wished I had failed. And one of them actually joined my team, and I think one of the things is use that. If that's the case and you have a fear of what people are thinking of you, and you have a fear, you guys, it's false evidence appearing real. Fear and faith cannot coexist together. Okay. It's in your head that you're playing this in your head. And usually it's the fear of, what's this person going to think? Gosh, are they going to think we're poor, that we can't afford things? You guys, use that stuff as fuel. Turn it into fuel as if your hair is on fire, and run with this business, and don't look back. It's okay if somebody tells you no. It's okay if someone cancels an event. It's okay. It's going to happen hundreds of times. You're going to grow a backbone. You're going to be able to stand up to those no's, and they're not going to hurt anymore. And it just gets stronger and stronger. And I think it's hard at first because your feelings get hurt, because typically it's tied to somebody you know, and you take it personally. Always remember, they're not saying no to you. They're saying no to what you're offering. You guys, you're offering somebody, honestly, a David Yurman box, a Tiffany box, a Louis bag. You're offering them a gift. It is not up to you to decide if they say yes to it or not. It's up to them, and we can't take that personally. Okay? Remember that. It's not about you. It is simply about them, and they may not be at a place in their life right now, and that's okay. Keep moving forward towards your goal until however long it takes. And eventually they might see it, and eventually they might get to, oh my gosh, she's killing it. She's consistent. I'm liking what she's doing. I'm interested and I want to talk to her. When you can show up consistently, you build trust with other people. When you show up as a leader consistently and with discipline, other people are watching that and they're seeing that. And when they see that, they want to join that. They don't want to join the person that is in, that is out, that doesn't communicate, that shows up once a week, occasionally posts this and that. Like, they want to join the person that is consistent, no matter if it's a high, if it's a low, you show up regardless. So go all in, run. You guys, get yourselves into so much activity that you could care less. You almost welcome someone saying, no, I can't host for you. You're like, sweet, because I've got 15 other parties. I'll talk to you in 2 months. Make yourself so busy that it doesn't matter. And that's what I did my 3rd month into this business. And I never looked back. Okay. Keep going and just put the blinders on. Remember, if that's what it takes, you guys, put those blinders on and just remember that those people are not paying your bills. And that person might be helping pay the bills. It might be a spouse. And I get that because I had that unsupportive spouse in my first business. Okay. And it might take a while to show them. But if you can show up with a decided heart and with a no door, like the door completely shut, no crack open, like that you shut that back door and you've thrown that key away, that you're going no matter what, they're going to start see that. If you start growing and into a person you want to become, and you're changing and you're developing, like, what's the worst that could happen? You become a better version of yourself. That's still amazing. Okay. So just know there's good in all things. Even if it doesn't come in a massive paycheck, you're still becoming an amazing person. So go all in, like no tiptoe, like go cannonball in and don't look back. That's how you run with this business, and you just go, like, where you just don't even care. So that's my end.
There's so much that I want to say. There's so much that I want to like bring up and revisit, and that it's just, I don't even want to make anything, like, I don't want to put any more out there, because literally this was one of the best team calls we have had in the 3 years that I've been in this business. And I so appreciate you. And I'm just gonna have to start voice clipping you like right after this because I'm so excited about it. You
Well, if
guys,
you go into labor, tell your husband I'm so sorry. Oh my God.
I'm gonna be like, I need to book parties.
Yes, you're like, hold on, between pushes. Can you please host for me? Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, who would say no to that? Really, like,
Oh my God.
it would keep me distracted, right?
Oh, you're so funny.
Thank you so much, you guys. I'm gonna get this recording converted tonight. I'm gonna kick my husband off of the Brewers baseball game to get this thing recorded so we can get it uploaded and you can share this with either yourself again, or if you have someone on your team or you have hundreds, because this is pure gold and this is the kind of stuff that is real, it is raw, and this is what will make the business work for you if you choose to lean in. So thank you so much, Katie. Congratulations on all of your success last month and what's coming this month. And we will talk to you guys in 2 weeks on the next team call.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so
Have
much.
a good night.
Katie.